Yo, and hello, welcome to the DCOM After Dark podcast. I am your host, Kevin, and I'm here, as always, with Lindsay. What's up, Lindsay?
Nothing much. It's a re-winter over here again.
Yeah, it's
So
like second winter, isn't it?
yes.
I've noticed that, like, for whatever reason, you guys got hit with like this giant snowstorm in like the South, Midwest, Mid South area,
Yep.
like Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi. I have no idea where the snow came from because it's supposed to be spring.
Right. Bringing in March with 4 inches of snow overnight. It's great.
So it is March. It is time for us to really hit that St. Patrick's Day stride. You know what I'm saying? And we figured it would just make sense to talk about Luck of the Irish, right? And since it's not an actual St. Patrick's Day movie, we did not bring in Loretta for our holiday correspondent. We brought in a very good friend of mine. Welcome, Tad, to the show. Tad, what's going on, man?
How's it going, guys? I'm very excited for this.
That's what you said. I had asked out there who was a big fan of Luck of the Irish, and you made sure it was known that this was one of your favorite movies.
Yes. I was a Ryan Merriman stan, so.
And so since you're a Ryan Merriman stan, you know what's so funny about that, Lindsay? So I had another person that reached out to me, and she was like, I'm a Ryan Merriman stan. I am in. I asked her if she want to do Luck of the Irish. She's like, oh, no. Only Smart House. Only Smart House. And I was like, I thought you were like a big stan for Merriman. You're a Merriman. And she's like, no, mainly Smart House. That's the superior of the two. And I said, well, then you got to get out of here. Let me see what Tadrick's doing. Because Tad said he loves him some Luck of the Irish.
No, so as soon as when Disney announced their Disney Plus series, and I was like, if they don't have the Disney original movies, then what's the point? Like, yeah, the Disney movies are all great, but the Disney Channel original movies, that was like also my childhood. So the very first thing that I watched when that thing came out was Smart House and Luck of the Irish. And then Johnny Tsunami.
It's so funny because we've been doing this show since like 2018, Lindsay? 2017,
Yep.
2018. And originally on the Disney Channel app, they would have a rotating number of movies you could watch. It would be like 8 to 10 movies on there at a time, because there's been, I don't know if you knew this, Dad, there's over 100 Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah.
And like in the 2000,
And they
like
keep coming out.
True. But in 2000, 2005, it was like every month. And then since then, really slowed down, like maybe 3 a year, 2 to 3 a year. Because I guess kids are just not watching them at the house anymore.
Well, they're
But-
bigger productions too. If you're looking at like some
Zombies.
of the yeah, a lot more
Zombies.
budget on those ones. Got to
Yeah,
get those
you're right.
Kenny Ortegas in.
The Descendants, man, the Descendants ones, like those are just. Have you ever seen Descendants, Dad?
I've not seen any of the newer ones.
Listen, man, these things are literally like whole state, like they're full length movies.
I'm looking at the list right now. I'm trying to see what was the last one that I actually watched when they were aired. And I think it was Return to Halloween Town back in 2006.
Okay.
So that's probably like the last of the original movies, because I'm looking at this list. I'm like, I have not seen any of these.
Yes, and which is why this podcast has been fun, because we're reliving some like the Irish today, and then there's some that both of us are watching for the very, very first time and had no clue. And then what we're doing is we're really just like digging into our nostalgia, those nostalgia crates, pulling up the old records and dusting them off. And then for some of the new ones, we're the crotchety old people that are like, get off my lawn. These are nothing like our 2002 hits.
Yeah.
So today we're going to launch into Luck of the Irish. Let's start off with the cast. As we said, this is another Ryan Merriman joint. Back in the early 2000s, Ryan Merriman could do no wrong on the Disney Channel, and he was just crushing it. And this was one of them.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, he came out with Smart House, and then it seemed like it took a couple, like I think probably a couple of years, and then all of a sudden Luck of the Irish came out. And then he was there for a couple of years. I guess did a third one, and then he did a Halloween movie, and then I never saw him again. He did the Halloween H2O with what the hell is his name? Busta Rhymes.
Okay.
And then I never saw him in another movie again. So I don't know if Halloween killed his career.
Do you think he got typecast? Ted, you're an actor, right?
Yeah.
You're an actor yourself. Do you think that he got like typecast as like the Disney Channel kid?
I mean, there's a possibility with that. I mean, a lot of the people, especially the Disney Channel people, is that they start these movies and then they are so happy with the money they've made with them that they're like, these are the types of movies I'll do. But there's only a certain amount of types that you can do with that. I mean, once you try and get into the mainstream movies, it's hard to really get rid of that. I think that's one thing why I liked Daniel Radcliffe so much is that he did Harry Potter. He could have stayed stagnant there, done like, you know what? I've made all this money from doing Harry Potter. I don't have to do anything else. But no, he's like, now that I've done Harry Potter and I have all this money, I can do all these weird shit.
I can do whatever I want. I can
like
do whatever
Swiss Army Man. Where I don't know if you've seen that movie, but that's one of the wildest. He plays a corpse who is basically like a Swiss Army knife that the guy finds in the middle of the forest, and like his burps are like air pressured, so he could the other guy, it's Paul Dano. He uses Daniel Radcliffe's body, and he like can start fires with his farts.
So yeah, literally, he's like, I have F you Harry Potter money. I can do anything I want, and guess what? I can go back to being Harry Potter anytime I want.
And then there's some people who are like, I'm going to stick with what I know I can do, and I think that's what happened to Ryan Merriman. Is that he stuck with the Disney stuff too long, and unfortunately, it just stopped him.
Dried up.
Yeah,
it just dried up. He's like, I'll make this Disney money forever.
Yeah,
this is gonna be great. And then nothing.
I think also at the same time, like you look at those movies, all the acting's basically the same. I mean, I'm sitting here watching it, and it's like, man, they act the same way as like the Goosebumps actors. It's all a bit too much over the top, but at the same time, not right there where you're like, okay, this is too cheesy for me to even watch. Like you watch some of the old school Disney movies and you're like, oh man, this is really cheesy now as you get older. But then there's some, I think, like Smart House and Luck of the Irish. I didn't think it was too cheesy. Like it was just cheese enough.
Listen. There's quite a bit of cheese, my guy.
There's a lot.
Quite a bit of absolutely cheese. But it's not over the top. Like, wow, this is cringy. Like, God, I really enjoyed this when I was a kid.
Of the two Ryan Merriman joints I've seen recently in terms of Smart House and Luck of the Irish, I felt like this one was just a little bit more Merriman. He was just a little bit more cheesier. But it's like at this point, this is the second movie. He's feeling himself. He knows that Disney's gonna be calling him again. Mm-hmm. He's the guy, and so he was like a little bit with like the he does more. So in Smart House, he does a little bit of dancing. In this one, he does more dancing.
It's the worst.
And the dance is not good.
It's so bad.
Good. And it's he does more dancing, but we had him here.
Okay, but come on, was 2000s dancing really that good?
Listen, you're right, but his was like it was apparently good enough where they thought that they should have him do it again. Remember what you did in Smart House? Give us some more of that dancing, Ryan. He's like, yeah. It was like that was it. It was just like a couple moves that were not really good. I was just it was a
if he was a real middle school kid doing that dance, he would get mocked mercilessly. And
that's the power of the coin. That's the luck of the Irish right there.
But I don't think we can count him out. He's getting to a point in his life where he can come back as a parent in these ones that are coming out.
True, yeah.
I think that might be the next move for him. That might be the next move. We also had Henry Gibson playing Riley O'Reilly. And Henry Gibson was like a huge actor in his day from what it looks like here.
Oh, yeah.
He's passed on now. But he was in a ton of movies and television going back to 1963 until 2007.
He was the voice of Wilbur in the Charlotte's Web movie.
Yeah.
See, I think though with actors like that, it's like, okay, I have this long career. I've done a lot. I can do these cheesy Disney movies, and people still recognize him and be like, man, he was actually really good at that.
Yeah.
Wow, he was in a lot.
A lot of stuff. Nominated for a couple Golden Globes. He was just around for a long time, and so having him in this movie, because one thing we've noticed is that these movies have the kids and then like a couple big gets for the the adults. Couple months ago we did 'Twas the Night, and it was a Bryan Cranston movie. While in the height of the Malcolm in the Middle phase, they had him in that movie. A couple months ago we did Camp Rock, and we had some pretty big. We had the Jonases before they were big, but we had the mom from Wizards of Waverly Place in the height of that going on. So there's always these big name actors that are. Oh, Tisha Campbell was in Lemonade Mouth last month, that we covered last month. Like these big actors that you know, and then the kids that you don't know.
Yeah. So I'm looking back up at Ryan Merriman. He's about to come out with a movie called Model House.
Okay. Maybe is it on the Disney Channel? Because if it is,
no,
we will be covering.
So I'm re-looking at, and it looks like he did a lot of horror movies, is what he tried to do. He was in The Ring 2. I forgot he was in Final Destination 3. I forgot he was the main guy in that one alongside. Yeah.
So he moved towards the horror genre.
Yeah. So he did the opposite of instead of starring in a really terrible horror movie and then trying to move on like Jennifer Aniston did. He started in the kids' movies and then went to horror.
And just did that for a while.
Yeah.
He's done some TV movies too.
He was in 42. I didn't even know. I didn't see that one, but
a Christmas movie, Christmas. He did Elevator Girl, Backwoods. He just did a bunch of TV movies.
He did 42 with Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, what was he in that?
He was Dixie Walker. So maybe I'm not as big of a stan as I thought I was, since I didn't know that. I just remember him from these wonderful children's movies. That was the most important thing to me.
Well, we have
back in, start following his career.
He was also Pretty Little Liars. My ex was huge into that.
You should have remembered him there then.
I didn't watch
the only other like huge actor in this thing was Timothy Omenson. And I remember this dude. I remembered him from Gallivant. I remember he was the King Richard in Gallivant.
That was his best. I think his best role.
Possibly he's done a lot of stuff. Lindsay, do you know anything about this guy?
Psych.
Oh yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, he did have a stroke in 2017. He hasn't done anything since then.
Oh wow.
Oh, he's done a couple things, but yeah, I remember seeing things about him like after his stroke, and he was just not doing well. But yeah, Gallivant was definitely my favorite thing of his. That whole series was great, and I wish that we got more than just 2 seasons of it, because the second season where I think he really came out to shine, because he got to really hang out with Gallivant and
yes, and just be a big role, because he did Psych. He was in Judging Amy back in the early 2000s. He was in Jericho. He's been on TV just like crushing it.
No, he brought a lot of cheese to this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So he brought a lot of cheese to Gallivant too. It's what he does best. It's what he does best. We had some other guys here. We had Alexis Lopez. I think she plays Bonnie in the movie. Ryan Merriman's Kyle's love interest, and she's not acting anymore, but she's doing something for like real estate. But she looks like she's doing well in life. We got his buddy, Russ, played by Glendon Chapman, who took like a 10-year break in between acting, a couple acting roles, and then came back for No Regrets in 2016. Then a couple TV series roles.
Wait, that was him? His best friend was the No Regrets guy, and
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
No. There's a movie called No Regrets that came out, and his best friend plays a character in that one. I was just joking about the no regrets.
God, I thought you meant he played the no regrets guy in the We Are the Millers movie.
No. No regrets. He didn't do anything of note. This one is one of the few movies that we don't have anyone that like really jumped off the page.
Yeah.
That's very rare for these Disney Channel original movies. This was for such a beloved movie. This ended up being like one of those rare misses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even watching it back, I was like, I thought I'd like this more.
I thought so too. I was a little surprised. I was like really surprised because I thought like this one held a lofty place in my heart for so long. I mean, the kid's playing basketball. He's getting smaller. We're gonna get on all that, but I just thought that this was Ryan Merriman was like a god, and he was definitely a mere mortal in this film.
Yeah,
that was a mere mortal.
And there's some plots that just like side plots that I'm like, why is this here?
This is true. Garrity plays his mom, and she like the fact that she is not telling him about stuff and then it's like it doesn't make sense. Let's just get into the plot. Let's just break it down because there's just some things I got some stuff to talk about. All
right, let's get into it. So it opens up with our main character, Kyle, and he is talking over a bunch of different diverse faces. And he's saying that there's one thing that ties us all together, and that's that everyone has a heritage and everyone has a family history. But he is concerned that he may have bad luck and he may be the only person who doesn't have a heritage.
Which makes no sense because everyone has a heritage. No matter what you think your heritage may or may not be, this movie just starts off weird.
It does. Very much so. It's a nightmare, basically, in which he's at Heritage Day at school and he's been called up to perform. And I think it's your typical like showing up with no pants on stage, except for he's just teeny tiny and no one can see him. And then he almost gets stepped on by the teacher.
Which technically gives away to the movie.
Foreshadowing.
No, I think what this film does great though is it does bring about heritage. Like, it's really talking about diversity. And I think maybe he's just worried about being that white boy who's got no hair, like no cool things in his background.
Listen, I've met a lot of white people in my life. And whenever I talk to them and they tell me I am Polish and Dutch, and I'm like, you're American, bro. Like you all your family's been here for a long time. They at least know that part. So when you talk to him and he's like, I have no heritage. I'm like, bro, you're something. There's got to be something in there from somewhere. And
yeah, but his parents keep telling me he's from Ohio, right?
and
nobody wants to be from Cleveland, Kevin.
And that is what is so weird. So he wakes up from this nightmare and he immediately asks his family, where are we from? And they get so weird about it. Like, super sketch.
So from the jump, okay, so I was like, this movie could have been taken care of in like 15 seconds when he's like, where am I from? They say Ireland. Done. Potatoes. We do some haggis. We have a little bit of corned beef. That's a little it. We drink whiskey. That's it. That's Irish. You're Irish, my guy. Okay, cool. Goes home, thinks nothing more of it, goes to school, has a play about Ireland, and we're good to go. That's it. That's all we need.
Because I think that he still would have gone to that carnival, and he's,
So we're going to get there.
There's a difference between being like, because I'm Irish, and there's a difference between if my mom said, hey, you're actually a leprechaun.
so that's the thing,
not
though,
instead
right?
of just like, hey, you're Irish. It's, hey, you're also a leprechaun to say.
But if you want to keep that part secret, which is they are obviously trying to do, instead of just saying we're from Cleveland, just be like, our family's originally from Ireland, or even crazier, just tell him where the dad's family's from.
They did, Cleveland.
And just be that.
be from Cleveland.
But that's what I'm saying, is that nobody wants to just be from Cleveland.
Right. I'm saying instead of being like his dad might be English, right? We're from England from your dad's side. Oh, okay. Done. Story over. That's
Never
literally it.
talk about that though. Like there's
No.
a whole other half that's just completely gone.
And he
Sorry,
just
Cleveland.
constantly goes from Cleveland. And I'm like, you can be from further. He's obviously trying to go further back. Just say whatever country. And then he never asks again. He'll never ask again.
Well, as it stands, they're American, and that's the only heritage they need. And she tells him to.
That's not anything more American than that.
We're
We're American. That's all you need to know. Can't get any better, right?
But he wears a lucky coin, and never at any
Yes.
point did he like try to
Hey,
look
where'd this
into
come
that before today or anything. But he tells us that he knows that they're hiding something. I'm like, damn, what gave it away?
Maybe being from Cleveland, and no one's from Cleveland.
Right. So we jump to a basketball game, and he tells us that they're going all the way to the state championships this year, and the reason is him. And it shows as he like prevents a ball from getting like knocked out of bounds. He like hits it with his hand, and it just like lands in the hoop.
Those are always my favorite types of things. And those, in any sports movie, there's always those most ridiculous shots, like Mike with when he finds a basketball shot.
Oh, yeah.
And there's always at least one ridiculous, like, oh man, how did that go in shot? And nobody even questions it. They're like, that was awesome.
I want to know who wins one-on-one. Troy Bolton or Kyle Johnson. Because Troy Bolton,
hands down.
No, because Troy Bolton would be busy singing about how he doesn't want to play basketball.
He would be singing about how he doesn't want to play, but he was also the star. These are the luckiest short white kids I've ever seen in my life playing basketball. Both of them. They don't look extremely athletic, neither one. Yet somehow they're the stars of their basketball team. I just don't get it. I just don't. Now, I get it a little bit more for Kyle because he's cheating, but
it's not cheating because he's not I mean, it's just lucky. That's not cheating.
He has no skill, though.
He's not very good.
True. He does not have any skill.
So, one-on-one, I think I would put my money on Troy Bolton because at least he could do the basketball move where he could put it behind his back on his shoulders, and then he could probably sing them, get your head in the game. And then the guy would get confused. And then he would
Kyle would smack it out of his hands and it would go in the basket already.
You might be right. Okay, if Kyle has his necklace on, then Troy has no chance. But if the necklace comes off, Troy's
then, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, everything's going Kyle's way, and this is when we see his amazing dance skills again, because he's back at school and everyone's cheering about the win, and he's just like walking down the halls, just throwing out his terrible moves.
Ted, you went to high school. Were you ever feeling yourself so much that you just busted out a dance move randomly?
Oh, no. I was not even close to being a popular kid in high school. I was hey, I know all of you, but you don't invite me to shit. So. My 10-year reunion was, what was it, 2022? My 10-year reunion was 7 years ago. And I was like, am I going to go? And I was like, hell no. And one of my best friends, I only talked to like maybe 3 people from high school, but one of my best friends from high school, they asked her to set up the reunion because she was the valedictorian. And she's like, you guys haven't talked to me in 5 years. Go screw yourselves. She used the F-bomb. I didn't want to use that here. But she said, go screw yourselves because you haven't talked to me. So it's like, why would I want to go? My best friend's not going to go. So it's like, hell no. So yeah, I was definitely not the type of person that could just bust out a dance move in the middle of school and people like, yeah, all right, let's go, come on. Remember, I was
just
also
like the shoulders.
I was the nerdy theater kid too, so.
Well, you should have maybe tried it. Maybe it would have been cooler because everybody would have turned and like clapped and been like, all right, look at Tad with the
I'm not a dancer. I'm a mover. Like I can pick up things, but I'm not doing pirouettes and all that stuff.
Kyle was also not a dancer, so that's okay.
Correct. He was not.
Yeah, but when the cameras are rolling, everybody thinks he's
Well, we have Bonnie that comes into the scene, and we find out that she's basically the committee queen. She runs everything at the school.
Mhm.
And she comes up to Kyle and asks what he's going to do for Heritage Day and completely blows her off, saying that history is so 10 minutes ago.
Lame.
And
That was the lamest joke. But everybody laughed. They chuckled because he's Kyle, and everybody loves Kyle.
Here's the thing about her, though, is she got kind of pushy. She gets kind of pushy. At times. I mean, she's also like, I don't know if she's really doing this a lot for the history's sake, or she's just trying to get into the best school as well. So like, I know that's her focus, and so she's just trying to get more things on her resume. But I feel like that she kind of is kind of a bitch to him about this whole thing. It's like, I mean, how many students you got in your school? Is everybody gonna do it?
I think she's doing it because she likes him, and it's an excuse to talk to him. And when he blows her off,
she's not feeling it. And then I also think that they very obviously have some kind of a relationship, not necessarily romantic, but they have like some kind of a friendship more so than we would expect.
Yeah.
For Kyle to be so cool and her to be so nerdy, they have some kind of like longer standing situation, because she comes up and like Russ is like chilling and like doesn't say, "What is she doing talking to you?" Like nothing like that. It was "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "You ain't got no heritage. What you doing here, man? Come on, let's get this going."
But she does like call him out immediately, which I don't see the other kids doing, right?
Right.
Like she calls him a mindless jock to his face.
Yes. Yes.
And I think he takes offense to that. But that's what you get when you make a dumb joke about history.
At this point, it's like everybody's, cheering him on. Of course, I was going to call him a mindless jock. He's going to take him to the state championship because sports are so important in school.
Well, even better is that she's the only one that's like calling him on his stuff, because she's not mesmerized by his basketball talents, using air quotes.
Yeah. Well, he says that they're from Cleveland, which now I'm starting to feel bad for him because he does want to know and he doesn't have the answer. So when she's asking, he doesn't have an answer to give except for the one he's been given. But she says, like, everybody has to come from somewhere. Most Americans are immigrants.
That is true. I wish Americans would realize that.
Yeah, it's true.
But that goes into a whole different topic.
Right. So we jump to geography, and he is daydreaming.
Doing nothing.
Looking at the map while the rest of the class is taking a test. And as the bell rings, he starts answering all the multiple choice questions just blindly. And the teacher's like, "Don't do that. I subtract points for wrong answers specifically to stop you from doing shit like this." And then when he checks it, all the answers are right. Because
Ryan Merriman, Kyle Johnson says, "I'm never wrong. I never miss." And which is crazy because he never misses, and yet he never questions it either. He's like, I knew nothing on this test. I still got 100, and I don't care. I don't understand. I don't care why. But I never miss.
Honestly, though, if you were in that position, if you could just answer any question and get it always right, would you really care? I know I wouldn't, as a B average student in high school. If all of a sudden I'm getting A's, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm getting A's.
But see, think about it though, Tad. Think about it. It's not all of a sudden. All his life, he ain't never missed. And I would be like, I'm watching other people fail around me in general, and I know that I never ever missed a shot. I've never missed a point. I've always on time, even when I'm late. Like something happens and I still make it on time. I would be at his age. I would have been like,
something's going on.
Yeah, how do I have it? And the fact that his boy Russ is like, "Bro, you're just like super lucky." He's like, "Oh, I am." Like, no, I would be like, "Why am I?" I wouldn't attribute it necessarily to my coin, right? But I would be like, "What?"
You wouldn't the lucky coin that your mom insists that you wear and go everywhere with?
Well, the reason I wouldn't attribute it to that because I would have got the coin when I was much younger, right? So I would have just known that, like, for years I never missed. I never miss on anything. This test, I knew I didn't know these answers to this test. I knew I guessed them all, and they all came up right. The likelihood that they're all right, very slim, but they were. but okay. Like I would have been like, huh.
But I mean, like I said though, like he's got everything going for him. Why question it? Just enjoy the moment. Basketball's going great. My dance skills are on peak right now. The only thing that I don't know is my heritage, but guess what? I don't care because I got 100 on a test that I didn't even study for.
And I closed my locker, and that girl definitely looked at me and gave me a little wink. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know her name, but she saw me shoot that basketball. And I got this other annoying girl that keeps bothering me about my heritage.
So yeah, like I wouldn't question it. Especially with how shitty high school is for me. Hell yeah, let's go.
Well, as we see, he's not okay with it because he starts asking all the questions. We're back at the house. We're at dinner, and he is trying to get around without asking directly, but it's not subtle at all. And he's asking like about the family history. Like, do we have soccer players or maybe skiers or bullfighters? Like, listen,
Bonnie just lives in the back of his brain, right? Bonnie's just she just lives there and has camped out in his head, and she's like, this history question really bugs him. And at this point, his parents should just be like, "All right, we're Irish," and be done with it, or just be like, "Your dad is he's Dutch, he's French, anything. Just give him something." Even lie to him instead of being like, and then like looking shifty-eyed. Like, that means you're definitely lying.
Yeah, so something about the scene that caught my attention is the parents are at this really weird camera angle where they kind of look like aliens a little bit.
Yes,
like,
I did notice that.
A fish glass type looking thing, and it's definitely made to let you know the parents are straight up lying.
Yes.
But it's just odd. And
it was definitely a choice. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a choice that I did not necessarily understand, but they went with it.
I think the reason why, obviously I don't know how the writers thought, but maybe the logic that they were thinking was that if we tell him, he might want to dig deeper. I don't, because he's so invested in this. I feel like that if we tell him it's just we're Irish, he's going to want to know more about it. He's going to want to dig deeper into our family, and he's not going to find anything because we're leprechauns. If they try and do it with the dad, and then he tries to dig deeper, he can find out that they're lying to him that way, and then it makes it even worse. So maybe that could have been their thought process of like, we don't want him to dig deeper because he's definitely. I don't think that just a simple "we're Dutch" or "we're Irish" is going to satisfy him. I think that he's going to want to know more.
I think then I think the next move because you might be right. The next move is you just go deep on the dad's side because the dad is not a leprechaun. So you just go deep on dad's historical history.
Yeah, but don't you also want to know about your mom's side too?
Yeah, but it will satiate his question right now.
Well, they've completely ignored the mom side as of this scene, and they just said, he's like, well, we're from Cleveland. Well, where are you originally from? Oh, we moved from Buffalo.
Two places nobody wants to be from. Right. Cleveland and Buffalo.
And then like being an American means you can be whatever you want. So I think that's maybe their way of saying just like pick a heritage and go with it. But he knows they're still hiding something, so he's going to try and look it up online. And the only thing he has to go off of is dad's from Buffalo/Cleveland.
Well, the best part when he looked it up online, he was like, the last time I looked up something online, I bought a house. So let me see.
He didn't buy a house. He won that house.
I won a house last time I used the internet. So let's see if that works again. I'm sure that's one thing that he thought about when he was doing that.
Well, Bonnie comes up to help him search the internet, and basically he doesn't know anything about the family. Like he can't search. He can't just. I don't even know what the dad's name is, Bob or whatever. Like he can't search Bob Johnson. That's just not going to work.
His dad's lying about his name too.
Right. So we find that out when he gets home. So he starts digging around because he doesn't have the information, and he finds his dad's birth certificate, which shows a different name than his current name. And he goes in and sees that dad changed the name after high school. And before he's able to look into it any further, mom comes home and he has to pretend like he wasn't digging through. records.
Yeah,
Now he's probably thinking witness protection program.
that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, we must be in Wit Pro. Like, that's the only reason that we're here, and they can't tell me nothing.
And
Now
that's
I'll just stop
exactly
asking
what
questions.
Russell suggests. He's like FBI, aliens, like from outer
Oh.
space, not from a different
Other
country.
countries. I would immediately stop asking questions. That's how I would go. I would
Well,
immediately stop asking questions.
Kyle, his luck continues as they're just, shooting hoops. He touches the rim of the basketball hoop.
Listen, my guy's 5'8", has no hop, has no spring, yet he gets up and touches the rim in the 8th grade. This is like, he has no spring in his jump. There's nothing that says he's going to touch the rim normally. Yet he grazes it. And Russ is understandably shocked because there's where did this come from?
He straight up says it's your luck. Like, it has nothing to do with skill, height, talent, heritage. Well, I guess it would be heritage because the luck is heritage, but
Yeah.
you just are straight up the luckiest dude I've ever met in my entire life. And they're going down the street and they see this advertisement for an Irish step dancing event.
Uh-huh.
And the logo on the flyer matches the logo that's on his lucky coin. So he's starting to connect the dots that the coin might be Irish and therefore he might be Irish.
Oh, snap.
So they go to this Irish festival looking thing. And I'll just note that there's a really creepy dude that's like scaring children who is dressed as a leprechaun, handing out lays.
Yes.
Which was an odd choice, but
it was a choice, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So they're at this stand at the festival and this old man approaches them and he's just acting really weird about his shoes and stuff. It's an odd scene again. You see the bottom of his shoe and it's got the snake on the sole, and the guy goes into how he makes his own shoes. And
he says, "You don't make your own shoes, did he?" And it's like, what? Why would I do that, my guy? I have no idea who you are, first and foremost. Secondly, why is this dude just walking up to these kids and just talking to them?
Creepy. It's super creepy.
I mean, we know why, right? We know why. But how do you not question that immediately? Like, why is this old man talking to us at all?
Making shoes something to do with leprechauns? Is that like a thing? I thought that was
because I think they're like joking about the whole like Keebler elves type thing. You're either go into cookie making, you do go into shoe making, like the ones that help the shoemaker. I think they're comparing that.
Okay.
Okay.
Like that's the job you could have when you're a leprechaun when you get older. In the olden days, is you either go into cookie making or shoe making.
Okay, so he's a shoemaker.
Yeah,
giving it away here, but he disappears when they get distracted because he throws these coins and they all land on a stack together, and they're all shocked by that. And then when they go to look at him, he's gone again. So we get to the main event, which is this Saint of the Step guy, which is Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
Such a typical Irish name.
He's walking through the crowd, and this is something that like is odd but never really gets mentioned. As he starts touching people, they start this step dancing, and there's some kind of like magic going on here, but they really never talk about it.
They probably think it's plants in the crowd.
It clearly was until they get like they're clearly dance actors, the ones that he was touching, until he gets to Kyle, which we see more of his
now he gets adds step dancing to his
Exactly.
Bruh. So the music starts and he just starts doing the jig, and his friend's like, "Oh man, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I don't know. I would be insanely concerned if I'm to start dancing to this music I have never.
Hold on, we got to go back. I think I know why. We're talking the guy with the lays. That was a way to get the coin.
Right. But why
Yes.
lays? That was my point.
Because it's a way that they can hide something in it. Because he's got to put it on him and be able to take the coin off.
So you can put the fake one on. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So when you're doing your Irish jig, right, randomly, your random Irish jig, I would think that this is not normal, and it's a good way for them to notice. Just look in the crowd and see who are secret leprechauns out here, because this music they just can't resist it. So you
secret leprechauns.
Who's a secret leprechaun? You got to look out there. Who's doing random dances? That kid. Send your guy over there. Put the lay on. Take the coin off. Real quick, trickaroo.
Yep.
I think it could have been like also that Sheamus was following him. Like, and I mean, they're looking for these coins. So maybe they have kind of spied him. They're like, let's put this carnival on now. And this is a way we can get that coin from him.
Do you think they just do the carnival from like city to city, just trying to figure out who are secret leprechauns in each city? Do they go to Cleveland? Do they go to Des Moines? Do they just go?
I mean,
to...
it's possible that's how they do it. I mean, it's it's a pot of gold, and they also, I think they know that the old guy lives there.
This is true. So they at least have some kind of like reference point, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we do, we're alluding to it, but Kyle gets knocked down by creepy, dressed as a leprechaun dude, and they pick him up off the ground, and we jump to the next morning, and when he wakes up, he puts his coin on, and he happens to knock over a trophy, which lands right on his foot, which is the only normal thing we've ever seen happen to this kid.
It has never, ever anything like this happened to him. And he's never known pain. I don't know why this didn't immediately alarm him.
Yeah.
If I ain't never had a situation like this happen in my life, this is enough for me to be like, something ain't right here today.
Get back in bed. That's what I would do.
I'm calling in today.
Yeah.
Calling in today. Yeah.
But he goes down to the kitchen and he finds that his mom has like let down her hair and it's red and curly, and she has this strong Irish accent that she started with all of a sudden. Yep. And she's making a standard Irish breakfast.
Just straight haggis. And,
yeah, he's
blood sausages.
Yeah, he's trying to talk, but he keeps throwing in random Irish, the pronunciation of Irish accent, whatever I'm trying to say here. I don't even know what it is. It's struggling, but he just throws "wee" in every once in a while.
Yes, a wee bit.
Ma. But
ma and da.
Yeah. Basically, mom is all gung-ho about telling him about his heritage now. And dad's like, whoa, like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that.
I don't feel like the dad has the proper level of concern on his face nor in his tone, because we have intentionally lied to our son for multiple years about what's going on. And then for you to just decide unilaterally that we're going to just tell him now. And then on top of that, we're going to go with the Irish lie that we could have told him years ago.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the Irish lie at this present moment without even talking to me about it.
Yeah, here's the thing though. I'm looking right now at this, and it says that she didn't want to tell him about the Irish thing because of all the hatred that the Irish people got back then.
And then he says that was 100 years ago.
Yeah. So that's not going to fly here either, Tad.
But she tried.
Well, another thing though, it's like when he wakes up next to his wife in the morning and her hair is red, why didn't he have a conversation with her at that point? And when she says, "Good morning, honey," and he's like, "Wait a minute, what happened last night?"
There is some concerning stuff that goes on in which he does not show the right level of like
concern.
Yeah.
Dad should not be figuring this out, Tad, the morning when she's making the breakfast. That should not be the first time he hears about this.
Don't you know how these are how movies work, though? Everything's fine the night before, and then you wake up. Maybe the mom's an early riser and the dad's lazy and doesn't get up until a little later.
I can give you that. Then let's go with that. Because listen, as you know here at the DCOM After Dark podcast, our job is to understand what's going on in these films, not from like the idea of the writers, but from the logic of the film.
That's my logic right there. The dad's lazy, sleeps in later. The mom. I mean, when you're an Irish leprechaun, you get up super early. Especially if you got to make all that stuff, you need time in the kitchen.
You're right.
And she probably had to go buy that stuff too.
I can give you that. She did not have it ready to go. She had to get the stuff for the blood sausage. She had to get the stuff for the leeks. Okay, I'll give you that then. She woke up a little earlier, got the day going.
And I'm looking at that lunch. Good God.
Yeah.
Why is that something that Irish people eat?
So she packs him a lunch, and it's in this little metal bucket.
Oh,
and
gross.
I'm gonna slaughter what the name is. It's like crew beans and cow cannon or something, but it's basically mashed potatoes, cabbage, and boiled pig's feet.
Yeah, gross.
In
a
like
bucket.
in a bucket. Yep. So we're walking to school, or Kyle's walking to school. And he said that this was the start of the most unlucky day he's ever had in his life. And in this walk to school, we just dropped the whole storyline about his dad changing his name. Like, he tells his friend, but like nobody's concerned about it.
Because
now,
no longer important.
Yeah, we're Irish now, so it doesn't matter. And he goes to pick up some money right by that bench, which he's found money before in this movie already. And a passing car splashes him with water, and then he loses his homework. It progresses. He spills water from the fountain, like it sprays onto his pants, so it looks like he wet himself.
Classic. That's classic right there.
Spills that boiled pig's feet lunch down his front, so he's
visibly shorter than Russ.
Yep, he keeps getting shorter.
Like. Visibly, like this is not did Russ have a growth spurt? No, Russ looks at him and says, "You got you're flooding your pants, my guy." That should be. Like Lindsay said, I would have went back to bed. I need to go back home. I'm calling in the rest of the day. This is weird. I don't know what's going on here.
Well, he said it's because he's been eating too much Irish food and it's filling him out. So apparently,
we've been eating Irish food for all of 10 minutes.
Yeah,
did you
I
see
didn't
that
eat
plate,
the blood
though?
sausage.
That was full as hell.
He didn't even eat most of it though because it looked gross.
It's true.
So
he loses his wallet. A kid gives him a chocolate cake and he spills it on himself. And then at practice, he tries to touch the rim again and completely eats shit in front of the entire team, who proceeds to laugh at him. Which is what we'd expect.
No good, very bad day. Very bad day.
And I thought that this was weird. I didn't think that this was standard. It's game day, and they're having practice on a game day.
It's weird. You do not normally practice the same day you have a game. For a guy that did the sports, if you have a game, you do not have practice that day. You have a little light warm up, a little walkthrough, and then you get ready for the game because you need the energy for that.
Nah, man. Were you ever going for the state championship? Because I know my school is not great at sports, so yeah, we might need a little extra practice if we're going for
right before the state championship.
Absolutely.
If you're practicing the day of, it's probably too late.
It's too late. At that point, it's too late.
But so the coach tells everybody on the team to make, not take 10 foul shots. And
God, I hated that shot. That was always the easiest shot in the game, and I could just never make that.
Russ,
this kid who hits everything misses it.
But
and then
as he's telling his friend to be like, you just gotta relax, lean into it. He shoots it, and it bounces off the rim.
Correct. And
that's the humble experience right there. It's like humbled.
Everyone keeps shooting. This is the thing I didn't understand. Everyone keeps shooting till there's only him and Russ left. Russ is not good at all, right? Because Russ is just bad. And then you have Kyle.
Well, we find out later he's not bad.
No, we find out later that he gets a little confidence. But Kyle is used to making it all the time. Why didn't he just leave when the coach left? When the coach left, shoot a couple more times, and then be like, I'm just off it today. I haven't hit nothing. I gotta go home. I've missed all my shots.
Kevin, it's the state championship. You cannot have an off day.
And while this is true, Ted, the fact that I've never missed a shot ever, and now I've missed all the shots, should cause some concern for me, because I'm never bad, let alone atrocious. So,
well, the lack of height that I've lost and my skill that I've lost, I should probably go to the hospital, see if I've got something going on. But basically, it's just Russ, and Russ makes his last shot, and we find out that Kyle hasn't made any of the shots.
None. Absolutely none of them. Absolutely none of them. It makes no sense.
He loses his temper. He's the only one left, right as Bonnie comes in. And she asks him again, what are you doing for Heritage Day?
That's another thing. Why is Bonnie? I know Bonnie's in all the committees. Why is she coming to the gym? She's just hanging around the school. She's stopping off to see who's, is she just peeking in there to see who's still here?
I still think
Grade A stalker.
This is an opportunity for her to talk to him. That's why she's using it as an excuse to go talk to him.
Okay,
so she knows he's there. And she kind of goes off on him in this moment, though, like basically saying that he would be a better person if everything didn't come so easy to him. And that
she's not wrong, though.
That is true. Like, that is some, it's like there's always movies like these Disney Channel movies. There's always gonna be those one quotes that like really stick with you. Spy Kids 2 had that with Steve Buscemi saying that, do you think God stays in heaven because he's scared of what he's created? Why is that said in a kid's movie? And there's always those ones in these kids movies where you're just like, you watch this as an adult and you're like, wow, you're really trying to get to the feels there and like really make me think here.
And that's what she did to him.
Yeah.
Because she says that and he's like, huh. And I'm like, at home, huh.
She's being super harsh, though. Like, she even says, like, you as a team have been outplayed, and the only reason you're still in the running for the championship is because you're a lucky dude.
She's not wrong, though. She's like, look, man, the team's trash. You're not very good either, but you make all the shots you take. So if you're off, we in trouble.
Yep.
We are in big trouble because the team sucks. Yep.
Well,
how does that look for that coach, right? So when the coach, when he leaves after this year and goes to high school, because I'm assuming they're like in 8th grade. I feel like they're
in middle school, yeah.
When he goes to high school, what happens to that coach when you go from the state championship to not winning a game? You guys don't win a game the following year, all because Kyle has moved on to the next grade.
Well, they're just going back to the norm because they said it's never happened before. So
You're right. What was the lightning in the bottle that year? Oh, that Kyle kid.
She takes the ball, makes a shot, and he's like, "That's just a lucky shot." She's like, "It's practice."
Oh.
When he called it a lucky shot, I was like, "Oh no, she should be on this team." Like she has a spot on this team. Like Russ also couldn't hit a free throw. She just shot that ball and it went right in. And then she said practice. That means she should be out here probably whipping you boys.
Mm-hmm. Well, I imagine there's a girls' team that she could play on.
I imagine that there isn't a girls' team and that she would probably have to play with the boys. That's what I would see.
That's the second one. The struggles of trying to join a male basketball team.
Without luck.
Yes. So we get to the game. Kyle is just terrible. The crowd is booing him, and they end up winning the game, but it's not because of him.
He was trash.
The parents are trying to comfort him, like, hey, man, everyone has an off day. And Mom is continually getting more Irish, I guess you could say. Like, it's getting worse. And Dad just kind of like, are you feeling okay? Like, once again, there should be way more concern for everybody around. And that's not happening. We wake up the next day and Kyle is shorter, definitely even shorter. And he is once again struggling with these Irish words that keep coming out of his mouth. And he smells smoke from like the landing of his room. And he runs down and Mom's gone like back in time. She's like in this rocking chair in front of like a cauldron type thing. And she's making a cooking fire to make breakfast. It's super weird. This should be the moment where we go to the hospital for everybody. And that's not what happens. So he's now he's walking with Russ again, and they're talking about how Drake is now the new star of the basketball team because of the game.
Yeah, one good game from Drake, and all of a sudden Drake's the popular one.
Yep.
Which one of us brought us here? Who got us here? Who got us here? It was me. I had a bad game. I would have been incredulous. I would have been yelling at people. How are we just going to turn on me like this?
They're calling him a loser to his face.
It was one bad game, y'all. One single bad game.
Oh, God. Middle schoolers were just the worst.
So we jump to science class, and they're learning about magnets. And Kyle's lucky coin, which supposedly is supposed to be pure gold, which would not be attracted by a magnet, is attracted by the magnet.
So
and he realizes that he's lost his coin.
He didn't realize it. Russ did. Right? This kid's just an idiot. Right? Because Russ is like,
he's very deep in thought here now.
Let's see. What are we at? 56, 55?
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, you're back.
All right. Yeah, as I saw that I had like a real quick spike in the thing. So picking up right there, 56. Let's pick up at 57:30. I have something to say about the gold. Okay. So the real crazy thing is that Russ should have Russ is the only smart one, right? Because Kyle is just dumb. He knows his thing is gold, right? But he doesn't realize that the gold should not be attracted by the magnet. Russ is in the wrong situation, right? He's probably a smart kid that's just on the basketball team, right? That's the kind of what he is. But he's not a basketball player. So when he's like, Kyle, your necklace shouldn't be attracted to this thing, that's when it appears to him. Oh, that's why I'm not doing well. It should have been better than that. It's disappointed. He's so dumb. He makes me so mad. He's so dumb. And he's not even like good at stuff. He's just bad.
Well, he's now aware that it's a fake. So
Yeah,
he
but when
immediately
you've been,
goes to
when
call his
you've been
parents.
perfect at everything, I mean, you don't train yourself to be good at these things. It's just like you said, it's lucky. So it's like, yeah, now that he doesn't have that luck, he doesn't know shit.
He has no skill, no brains, no nothing.
He has never learned anything in his life. So of course he doesn't know anything.
So he just, as this day continues to get shorter and shorter. His hair is turning red, and not like natural red, like
it's like frosted red, right? It's like red tips.
I have no idea. This is the 2000s, man. This is when the frosted tips were the height.
This is
you
true.
Look at NSYNC right there, Backstreet Boys. That was the frosted tips. I did frosted tips back in the 2000s. It didn't look good, but I did it.
It didn't look good here either, for what it's worth. So he's running down the stairs to call his parents on the payphone, guys. Payphone. And falls down the stairs. Coins go everywhere. And he's just getting shorter. Like, he ends up running out of the school to just go home, and they realize that he's now shorter than Russ. When we started this movie, he was definitely taller, but now he's considerably shorter. So he gets home. What'd you say?
Considerably shorter. Yeah. He's like, he lost like an inch when he was walking. He is now 3 or 4 inches. He's swimming in his clothes, and now I feel like he finally has reached the proper level of concern.
Yeah, he runs home, which should have started there. Should have never left. But when he gets home, he finds that his mom is only about a foot tall. And she, at this point, there's nothing to hide. She confesses that she's a leprechaun, and that means that he is also a leprechaun.
Like, well, you got me. I'm a leprechaun. I don't know if you could tell based on my height, but it is sure Diddy. I am a leprechaun.
So Da fills us in that the clan is able to go pass as a normal human as long as they retain their luck. Mm-hmm. And Kyle asks, like, are we out of luck? Like, did we run out? And he's like, oh, that can't be, because you wear the luck on the coin.
That necklace that you wore all the time.
Right. So that's when he can, tells them that the coin was stolen. And Mom, of course, can look at it really closely because it's, larger than her head.
Right in her face. And she's like, oh, this is a fake Diddy. Where is the real? And he's like, I went to the fair. Didn't we tell you not to go to the fairgrounds on your own?
That's a whole nother storyline that was like absolutely not necessary. Like, why did you go without her permission? Like, I don't think that really matters at this point.
When you're 15, you do what you want, okay?
And that's when Kyle tells them about this crazy old man that approached them, and he assumes that it was the crazy old man that stole the coin. And Mom's like, did he have a snake on his shoe? And she realizes that her father has been hanging around and has been spying on them, basically. So they want to go confront her father, her Da, about stealing the coin. And it turns out that he runs the potato chip factory in town.
Mm-hmm.
How Irish.
Yeah. So they get to the factory and they're denied entry because Mr. O'Reilly doesn't have a daughter. And Dad explains at that moment that they fled from Cleveland because leprechauns aren't allowed to be in mixed marriages. And they had to change their name to make sure that the mom's family couldn't find them. And Kyle asks, what does it matter if they love each other? And he says leprechauns can be small-minded.
Kyle, this is a battle you'll be having for years and years about people loving who they want. It's a battle I guess we'll never stop talking about. Leprechauns, men loving other men, women loving other women, whatever you want to do. Love is love, right? And that's what Kyle feels. I feel the same way. I'm with Kyle. Love is love, right. But that's not how it is for everybody, especially dudes that are like 300 years old, 200 years old.
That is a major problem, though. And I'm very surprised they never addressed the fact that Mom's going to live a long-ass time. Meanwhile, Dad's going to die.
Yeah, because he's immortal.
Look, Aragon and Arwen, they were going to deal with it. That was all of Elrond is like, you can't love him because he's going to die one day and you're going to be like looking the same you do now. She's like, I don't care. I love him.
And that's kind of how that was too. You're right.
Love is love, Kevin.
Love is love. Love is love.
Well, we don't really know what that means for Kyle. We never address that in the movie whatsoever. Like, does he age slower? Or does he gonna die immortal age?
It's slower because he is half leprechaun, so he will still age longer, but like maybe only 100 years.
I don't think they're immortal. I think they just live to a certain age and then they'll die.
But for him, it has to be like half that.
Yeah. Because I mean, if the grandpa's only he's 200, but he still looks old. So obviously, like you do age. It's just you just age slowly.
Right. So the mom, I wonder if his mom is really like in her 40s, or is she like 140?
Well, it's the daughter, so maybe she's
100 or something. Yeah. Well, because we know now that she was in America 100 years ago when all this discrimination was happening. So
that's right.
No, she's older than 100.
That's why she didn't want to say Irish, because she lived through it. It wasn't just that she knew about it, that she remembers it firsthand. I wonder, does his dad, Bob Johnson, I wonder if Bob realizes that she was robbing the cradle when she started dating him. Like, I wonder
or he's a grave robber. So
does he know this? Is he aware that his wife is over 100 years old?
I feel like they had that. They probably have had that conversation at one point.
I would hope so. If you're willing to like run and change your name, I'm imagining you're going to want more information before you do that.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Well, they get thrown out of the factory, physically thrown out of the factory. And that's when Kyle sees that the High Achievers field trip just arrived in the parking lot to take a tour of the factory. So
what a terrible name for a group. It's like, especially with how much shit Kyle got for being terrible at that one game. And you're like, here's a club where we're going to give you a name that you could just make fun of us so damn easily. As we're high achievers, we obviously think we're better than you, and then people are just going to make fun of them like crazy.
You just put it right on the nose too. They're like, what do we do in this club? We achieve highly. That's exactly what we're here to do. We're here to achieve as high as we can and just do the best we can on things we do. And they're like, easy marks to make fun of.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he sneaks in with the field trip, and he's in the back of the group, and he just starts asking all these, like, are we going to meet Mr. O'Reilly? Where's Mr. O'Reilly's office? And obviously the questions now tip Bonnie off, because Bonnie is clearly a high achiever.
Of course.
And she goes to, like, go back and be like, what the hell are you doing here? And he just, like, quickly fills her in on everything. Like, there's a couple parts in this movie where people just jump right on board this whole mission without any backstory.
Now, I don't understand, because Bonnie's a friend, but she's not like his best friend. So I don't know how she just easily leaves the higher achiever group and just works with him on this. I know she has a crush. Don't get me wrong.
She's a ride or die for him. She has a crush.
And it's crazy because he did nothing to garner this kind of loyalty from her.
Kevin, do you remember like when you were in this grade and you had a crush on somebody and you wanted to take as much interest in something that they had, even though you had no idea about it? But as soon as you found out they really liked it, you're like, I'm in. I'm fully in. So she's like, so that's where we're at, is that she's like, okay, I've had this crush. Oh, he's into this. Oh, I'm into this now too.
But I'm also into this also. Okay. I can get that. That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes sense, obviously. Tracks.
Well, security notices Kyle and Bonnie talking and sounds the alarm that they have intruders. I don't even want to know how that happened, but we'll proceed
that's
forward.
The kid from earlier
right.
that I should probably not recognize because he was only in here for a half second. But
and I can point him out in a group full of children the exact same age.
Yes.
So they make a run for it, and it turns into a chase scene.
Okay, for a guy that does not have his luck, he is able to evade these cops extremely well.
They steal a golf cart.
Rent-a-cups. Yes. And they crash it. They jump through the golf cart. He does a little parkour action as he's like making moves. And Bonnie is just keeping up. I have no idea how she's keeping up. And the security guards, they're not even that bad. They're not just like falling over each other. He's literally outpacing them, the two of them. I have no idea how.
Well, I mean, look at how they're running. I mean, they're not going full sprinting. Because we all know golf carts are not fast. You can easily catch up to a golf cart. Which
I
it
guess
looks like
that's
the
true.
oldest one of the security guards managed to do.
This is
So
true.
when the golf cart crashes, he ends up falling down this chute and it drops him off on a different floor right in front of Mr. O'Reilly. And he immediately acknowledges, like, oh, my grandson, everybody. And Bonnie follows him, but she's got even worse luck because whatever Kyle landed in is no longer there. So she just eats shit on the floor.
Breaks nothing, hurts herself not at all.
Right.
Gets
But
right up, dusts herself off.
I think he's lost his hat or he takes off his hat and now he has full on, like,
Pointy ears.
is it Vulcan ears?
Yeah, type going on. Yep.
Yeah. So Kyle accuses Brenda of stealing the coin and accuses, and like they keep going back and forth, like it's probably your mom that stole it. No, and we know you stole it. And can't be mom because she's a foot tall. And this makes no sense to me. They're like, why isn't grandfather that tall? It's like, I'm an old man. It takes me a while to change.
It's just I get the shrinking. You know what it really was? It was a budgetary issue. They only knew that they had enough money to make one person appear small, so they said we're just going to have the other two fake it. We'll just explain those things away.
Well, so Granddad now knows that the coin's missing, and Bonnie, for some reason, with very little knowledge, has been like, she's just following along with this whole thing. We're leprechauns, there's a missing coin. Like, she's not really asking a lot of questions, nor is she as concerned as she should be. Because it appears that these people are having a mental breakdown in front of her, and she's just here for it. So we get a new explanation that it's not just one particular person's luck, it's the luck of the entire clan of O'Reilly, and that's what's held them together for 1,000 years of famine, hardship, saying goodbye forever and sailing to a distant shore. And then Granddad blames him for losing it. Be like, we've had that shit forever.
Yeah, you had one job, my guy.
Yeah,
one single job.
We were just getting into the swing of things. We were finally making money. I made that potato chip 100 damn years ago. We're getting it together.
Here's the thing that makes me confused about like why they're blaming each other. Like the grandpa was at the festival. He knows Sheamus was there. So why is that not his first thought of like, it's obviously Sheamus?
That's another thing. If you knew Sheamus was there, you know what kind of rapscallion he is. You should be Granddad should be tracking him the whole time.
Yeah.
He should have his eyes on Sheamus the whole time. Instead of bothering the kids.
And yet, well, he does make the connection that that's exactly what happens. And they decide to now band together as a family to try and get it back. Mm-hmm. And at one point, Granddad starts playing this Irish flute and Kyle starts step dancing again.
Yeah.
And he has to like shake it off. He's like, stop, I'm not doing this. Like, we actually have to go and like do something about this. And he's like, I'm American, damn it.
It was just so random.
I think Disney cast Ryan because of his dancing skills. That's why he dances in both movies. At the audition for Smart House, they're like, okay, this kid's he's not a bad actor, but we're like, we need to see your dance skills. And Ryan
he like busts them out.
He busts out these moves, and they're like, you know what? Yes. I've already got 2 movies planned for you where you're gonna be dancing a lot, kid.
You're gonna be a star, kid. You're gonna be a star. If you keep dancing like that, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. And he's like, bust out the dance moves.
He should have had a cameo in Xenon, just dancing in the background to Protozoa.
So they go out to the parking lot where Mom and Dad are waiting, and Grandpa and Mom have they got to battle it out because they've got I don't know, too many years of being in a fight. And mom punches them in the face, even though she's a foot tall.
Yeah,
he's old. It's okay.
The fact that they're fighting about this, right? Because they've only been married for what, 15 years, 20 years, maybe. They haven't talked this whole time. Like, I mean, he knew he had a grandson, so obviously you've had some conversation.
Here's the thing, though, is I mean, this movie kind of does deal with some like deep things. It deals with the prejudice thing, like, and it's prejudice on both like against Irish people as well as inner family fighting that like you can't date anyone outside. Like it's how it is now. It's like you can't date anyone outside your race. I mean, I think that this movie is, while it is cheesy, it does have those moments of dealing with stuff.
It does hit both those things. You're right.
And I think that, you know, if you look at the world it is today, like when somebody dates outside their family, like dates a Jewish person or dates something like that, sometimes they get ousted from their family. And and so like it really shows that here. And maybe the mom did try and reach out and be like, look, I know that we don't talk, but you have a grandson. Because you might hate me, don't hate your grandson. He didn't do anything wrong. And maybe that's why the granddad did move to nearby them. Because he does
them,
he does want to be. And also he knows that kind of his life depends on his grandson.
It exactly depends on his grandson's having that coin.
It's taking care of that coin. Up. And so like yes, it makes sense why he's so angry. But at the same time, it's probably why he's so close is to make sure that nothing does happen, because maybe he's just a crotchety old bastard that doesn't want to die.
Well, this is why this is an even worse situation, because he should have been having his eyes on that man the whole time. Sheamus should never have been able to trick him, because if he knows how important this luck is for him.
I didn't say he was a great grandfather.
There. Okay. As long as that's acknowledged.
I think the part that's the important piece of information that we learn in this instance is that when mom met dad, she lied to her father and said that he hails from the shores of Erie in an attempt to make him sound like he was Irish and within, respectable marriage match, and rather than actually just a man from Ohio.
Yeah.
And Kyle is like, gets them to just bury it. Like, come on, we got to band together. Let's apologize to each other and get over it. And they do. So Bonnie is once again like, I'm all in.
There's so much prejudice here, and it's like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
20 years of hate, and Kyle says, we have to work together. Okay. You're forgiven. You're forgiven. Then we're forgiven. I'm glad that we got that out the way. That was literally it.
So this is when we find out that Bonnie really wants to play basketball, but her parents won't let her, and she was forced to join the high achievers or whatever they are for because it looks better on applications. And she's upset about it, but it's just, that was her like, I'm coming with you because high achievers, we seize the day, and that's what I'm gonna do with you right now.
In reality, she was like, these high achiever dudes suck, and I would much rather go do something else.
Like, I don't need to go take a tour of a potato chip factory. I'd rather hang out with these leprechauns. Especially when the owner of the potato chip factory is right here with us.
Yeah.
I will chat with him about a tour later if we really want a tour.
Learn about how they're made.
He can tell me straight up. He can tell me from the jump, the beginning, how he accidentally cut the potato too thin and then fell in the fryer. He can tell me all about that day firsthand. Yep.
So car won't start. So that means they got to take Granddad's green convertible.
Yes.
And as they're driving down the street, they run into Russ, who's just like,
what y'all doing?
happens to be there. Yeah. And
What y'all doing? I see the top's down. Kyle, what you doing? Hey, that's your mom. Your mom's tiny.
but
That's
he
crazy.
just jumps in the car.
Yeah, tiny. Where y'all going? Why are y'all riding around with this old man? Mind if I come? And then he just jumps in the car.
Right. And here's another point where it's like he's just on board. Nobody's really told him anything. And he's just like, all right, I'm down for this.
Russ is just a go with the flow kind of guy, Lindsay. He doesn't need too many details.
That is the ride or die best friend right there.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. He's like, it doesn't matter. I see Kyle's in the car. I see he's got some weird things going on with his ears. Doesn't matter. I'm ready to go. Wherever we got to go, I'm aboard.
And I kind of didn't notice this at first, but Granddad's appearance is starting to change as well. I didn't quite notice, but his beard's getting extremely long.
It's starting to get longer.
Yeah. So they get to the fairgrounds and Bobby, Dad, he's like, I'm going to go investigate. So Granddad tells him if he gets into trouble to make a bet because they can't resist a gamble.
Uh-huh.
I guess this is a specific type of leprechaun. I never really caught on to what type of leprechaun, but they're not good leprechauns.
I think I read it. It was their far Dagens.
Okay.
Derek or something?
Derek. So I think they're like evil leprechauns.
Okay. So they're in this motorhome and Dad like gets up on the front of the motorhome and like peers into the windshield and he sees a safe that's full of gold coins. And right about that time is when Sheamus appears in the windshield, scares the shit out of Dad and drives the motorhome almost right into the convertible.
Yep, just takes off for it. Like, we've been found out. And he takes off in the motorhome.
And they give chase with a lot of ridiculous leprechaun laughter that's super unnecessary.
Uh-huh.
At one point, Sheamus's crew throws a pot of corned beef cabbage at the convertible.
Well, Sheamus is like, throw this at him. And then they do. And then he's like, that was great. Give me some lunch. And they said, we just threw it at him. Like, that's literally what you just literally just supposed to do that.
Well, they end up getting a flat tire. I'm assuming it's just bad luck or something to do with the corned beef cabbage. I'm not really sure. But they don't have a spare. And Granddad's like,
never needed one.
I need a spare. I've always had my luck.
Yeah, never needed it.
And defeat really takes over at this point, and everyone's all miserable. And Kyle tells Russell, like, you got to leave, man. You got to start getting ready for the game. And he's like, aren't you coming?
Is like, aren't you coming? And it's like, no, my guy. Do you not see what's going on here? Like, Russ, where have you been the last 15 minutes? I have no luck. I'm very short. I was not good in the last game. Why would I be good today?
I actually can't play basketball.
I'm not a good basketball player at all. I'm really, really bad at the sport. So no, I won't be there.
And Bonnie's response is like, right, well, sports aren't everything.
But that's all he had. That's how he made his. It wasn't his boyish good looks or his dance moves. It was his basketball skills that had the ladies eating out of the palm of his hand, except for Bonnie. So,
I mean, are you sure? Because she's still, even though he was she's still into him.
No, outside of Bonnie.
Oh, okay.
Every other girl that's been eating out the palm of his hand is because of his basketball skills.
That's true. Yes.
So he needs to figure out how to get his basketball skills back. But for us to be like, aren't you coming? No, fool. No, I'm not coming.
Well, Bonnie says it could be worse. And that is the cue for it to start pouring down rain.
God, it's like people have never seen any movies at all.
Right?
You never say that.
And the convertible top won't go up.
Of course.
So now there's how many of them just sitting in this convertible with one umbrella?
Yep.
And
the mom's fine. She's totally fine.
Right. That's the perk of being a foot tall.
Yep.
So everyone's pretty much turned on each other at this point. They're all blaming each other. And Bonnie's like, everybody has bad luck. Like, but the thing is, people get up and keep trying.
We don't. Listen,
we don't.
Bonnie.
Absolutely not.
We ain't never had bad luck a day in our lives. We have no idea what this looks like. What is this? What do my hands do? That's essentially where they're at. They don't know. They ain't never seen this before. So for you to be like, you just get up and just keep going. They're like, is this how you mortals get through this?
Like, why do you keep doing this? This is awful.
Yeah. It sounds like a terrible thing.
She reminds them that when the Irish came to America, things were very tough. They had to work jobs that no one would take. They got paid lower wages. Russell chimes in at like, hey, at least they got paid.
I did hear that. So that was so for those that don't know, Russ is black. And that was a fantastic line because he said, hey, at least they got paid. Because the Irish were indentured servants, whereas blacks were slaves. And so
we're getting deep in this movie.
Yeah.
I love that line. I was like, go Russ.
But the thing is, they kept trying, right? Things got better, and that's what makes them special, is they didn't give up. And Kyle informs everyone that she's a young achiever or a high achiever or whatever. Like, ladies and gentlemen, that was a great speech.
Yeah. I was hoping that his granddad was like, here's the thing, dearie, we are not Irish. We are leprechauns. Right. So that story you told me about the Irish, I don't care about. We have had luck from day one.
She corrects him when she gets called a high achiever, and she's like, no, I'm an American, and Americans don't give up.
God. Then there's that stuff that's just like, that's the cringe part of this.
But her speech was so good, it scared away the rain.
Yeah.
It's that American power for you right there.
So everyone's inspired now, and they're like presenting ways that they can fix the situation. And Kyle thanks Bonnie and is like, but you should probably get out of here. So she takes off. And Bonnie goes back to join the field trip.
Yeah.
Around the same time that we see a rainbow appear.
Yeah.
So Granddad starts running towards the end of the rainbow. And Russell's
Russ, who still hasn't left? Russ, who still hasn't left to go to the basketball game, is like, that's just light reflecting. Bruh, you just found out today that there's leprechauns. If he said that there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, just follow him. That's usually how that works.
Don't explain how a rainbow works to a leprechaun.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the rainbow leads them to the RV, and Sheamus and his crew are having some pints and hoagies, and that gives them the opportunity to break into the RV while they're distracted. And Granddad uses magic to open the safe, which is something that we, once again, don't really talk about. And
so you've had magic this whole time, Granddad. Do all of us have magic? Does Mom have magic? Do I get magic? I'm half. Do I get magic? Like, how does the magic work? Did you get it at an older age? There's so many questions, yet no one asked a single one.
Look, nope. we only got an hour and 20 minutes. We can't go into the entire history of
the lore
and how it works.
So they retrieve the clan's coin, and Granddad tries to convince Kyle to steal the entire pot of gold.
So this is one of my
like I said, the Granddad's not a great person.
Yes. The moment they get there, and Kyle's like, this one, first off, I have no idea how Kyle knew that one was his coin. They all look the same. But he sees it. Picks the one.
Isn't it still in the necklace thing? Because he puts it right back on.
No, it was just a part of the pot. It was just a part of the pot at first, and then we don't see him put it on the necklace.
He sensed it. He said he could feel that this was the one.
This was the right one.
Yeah.
And so he puts that one on. But Ted, it gets even better because he puts it on, and then Granddad's like, the blood of all of the other leprechauns who've had their luck stolen. Let's also steal it from them. What?
I feel like there is an argument here to steal that pot of gold, and he was using the wrong argument. He's like, we could always have more luck. But it's like, why wouldn't you at least steal it and try and give it back to the rightful owners?
That's what I was gonna say. Try to
But that's
find
not
the
what he was
right
saying.
owner of the luck.
That'd be a lot of work. I mean, to go and try and find every single leprechaun, I mean, that's a lot of work.
Well, they can find at least the ones in town.
Post it on Craigslist. Say, come get your luck.
Found leprechaun luck. Please inquire within. Let them
Must prove you're a leprechaun.
Yeah. When they show up at 1 foot tall, okay, which one's yours? Oh, Houlihan, here you go. That's for you. I found which one is it? There you go. Oh,
everybody has to do an Irish jig though.
Yes. Granddad plays the music. Watch if they hit the jig. They don't hit the jig. Keep it moving.
So as this argument is going on, Sheamus senses the theft is going on, and like they're continuing to argue. So they could have got the coin, got the hell out of there, and
his RV security is just insane. His RV security sense that just alerted him on his brain phone and let him know that someone broke into the motor home was just insane. And then he comes running out of the restaurant looking for him.
It might just be because of the gold. I mean, he's like, oh God, there's a piece missing. He's got a connection with the gold.
He can feel the luck draining.
Yes,
it's other people's luck that he's utilizing.
Well, maybe it's power that he loses when like a coin's taken from it.
I mean, he has to be gathering it for a reason, right? Yeah. Like he has to get something out of this.
No, what he said he was gathering it for was to take all the luck and then rule the people of the leprechauns.
That's
that makes sense. I'd want to do that too.
He said, I want to take all their luck and then just rule over them because I have all the luck, which I thought was a interesting supervillain plan because you don't even know where you're taking their luck and moving from town to town. How are you going to rule over them?
And how much like luckier can you be? I mean, even when Kyle with his one coin was the luckiest person. Can you imagine how lucky you'd be with all the coins?
Yes.
Like the luck would be insane. Like you could just buy lotto tickets and be like, I have all the money in the world now.
That would be a move. I would just go and play some machines.
Yep.
In a casino or go play some table games and just or bet on all sports. A 45 team parlay that you put together.
Well, they continue to fight about this stealing the pot of gold thing, and Granddad eventually drops the issue when Kyle uses the word "we" in relation to the leprechauns. So he's now like accepted his
one of us. One of us.
And Kyle puts back on the coin and his image returns to normal, but like completely exaggerated. We got to you see him turn to one side and one ear goes back, and then you see him move his head and the other ear goes back.
Of course. Fantastic use of the special effects that they just figured out how to use in 2001. That was Now, the one thing that I thought was insane, because you just mentioned it, that the granddad is like, he has accepted his leprechaun heritage. Little does granddad know that he probably would have accepted it much sooner had he just known about it. It's not like throughout the movie he's been like, no, I'm an American. I'm not a leprechaun. The whole movie he's been like, what am I? What are we doing here? Tell me.
It's not like he's been hating on the Irish people the entire time. He'd be like, damn it, I'm Irish? Damn.
And so for Granddad to be like, sucks, misty-eyed and like a tear in his eye that he wipes away, that he's like, he's finally accepted us. He never denied y'all.
Makes no sense.
Ever. Good.
But a gold coin tornado appears in the RV, and it sucks Granddad into it. And we see Sheamus entering the RV, and now he's got Granddad by the beard, which apparently a leprechaun cannot escape from.
If you got him by the beard, you ever grabbed a person by a beard? If they got can't go nowhere. Can't go nowhere if you got him by the beard.
That hurts. I mean, So that makes a lot of sense, actually. That I don't see any loopholes in that one.
So
Check.
Sheamus tries to get the coin back by doing a hostage exchange.
Well,
And
this is America, so
yes. But we don't negotiate with terrorists.
that's right.
So Granddad tells America, tells America, don't trust the leprechaun. No, he tells Kyle, don't trust him. And that's what reminds Kyle about the bet advice that was given earlier.
Yeah.
So he bets Sheamus that he can beat him at sports. So nice use of like not very broad. Didn't even say basketball, just said sports. And if Kyle beats him at sports, he gets the coin and his granddad. And if Kyle doesn't beat him, then the coin is his and they have to stop chasing after him. Seems like a shit deal. But
terrible deal. And the worst part is that it's the
remember
deal
Kyle's not smart.
Kyle's an idiot. This is a terrible deal to even offer. If you want to do the coin for your mild annoyance, you should be like, first off, you just got to give me granddad, right? There's no reason granddad should even be in this deal.
Yeah.
Just give me granddad. Now, you want this coin. I'm willing to play, even though this is my coin, I already have it. I'm willing to do the deal, even though I already have the coin, it's in my possession, by giving me back granddad to begin with. Because I do feel like I could beat you in the sports, and then you just leave here. And you just get out of here like altogether. Yeah. Terrible deal.
Well, they shake hands or slap hands.
It's ironclad. And the moment they slap hands, they're transported to somewhere else.
Ireland.
There you go.
And they're playing some old school Irish games. And they go back and forth on winning the different games.
I think old school doesn't even justify it. Because when I think old school, I think like in the 80s. He's talking about the 80s, like the year 80 is when they're playing these games. Literally like throwing rocks. So you could throw a rock the furthest. So you could throw a javelin and have it land on a thing, stuff like that.
The old Irish games, yeah.
I feel like that's still a thing over there, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The log toss, that's they have those games all the time.
Really? Even now?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Heritage doesn't go away. Too much history to get rid of. So they end up in a tie after they go through all these games. And Sheamus informs him that a tie isn't
I said you
him.
had to beat me. And we ended with a tie.
Boyle.
Why are they playing only 4? The moment I would have got there and I realized we're doing 4 different events, I said we need a 5th one. We need a tiebreaker 5th one. We gotta have one.
But also, hey, don't forget, we got more of Ryan's dance moves. And he brings out the break dancing now.
It was, one of the competitions was a dance competition that was going to be judged by I don't know who. And Ryan,
who is judging all this, by the way? Is it the Irish gods that are just like, yeah, that right there, that's definitely there.
That was the dance moves we did not see coming. Ryan just killing it.
He does some like spinning on the ground.
Yeah,
It's
breakdancing. It was great.
So because he didn't win, he's saying like he's also going to keep his granddad.
Yeah.
Because he said he may have let him go, but now he's going to keep him and make him a slave.
He's 200 years old. Why do you want a 200-year-old slave? Makes no sense.
Because he's got the luck now. Because with all those coins, he could probably make him go younger and be like, I can make it work forever.
Then maybe he wants to work there anyway. That might be a situation.
So he makes another bet with him because the first one worked out so well. And he's like, I bet that I can beat you at basketball without my lucky coin. Which
Kyle, we already know that you can't play basketball. Yeah. You couldn't make free throws to save your life.
This is an even worse deal, Kyle.
But Sheamus he's like, you don't even have anything to bet. Like, what are we talking about here? And he's like, well, you'll get me in exchange if I lose. And if you lose, then you have to live forever in the land of my father's people on the shores of Erie.
Yeah. And the dude's like, easy bet. Slap hands. All of a sudden, in the championship basketball game.
And it's like almost
State
over.
Here we go.
And all tied up.
It's tied
so there's
up,
3 minutes left.
And he is embodied all of the children that are in the game.
Here's my favorite part of this too, is that no coach would allow a player to miss almost the entire game and then show up 3 minutes left and he's like, you know what? You're going in.
Like that's exactly what happens.
Never happen.
The only coach that would let them do that is if you're watching Kyle, and Kyle's been good all season. He's been the reason we got here. Kyle, you're in. You turn to Russ and say, why are you even here? Hit the showers.
Actually, you know what? It's not even the coach. It's school policy. Because seriously, I know that so my senior year of high school, I was sick homecoming week. And they were not even going to let me go to my homecoming dance. And it was my senior year because I had missed school. So yeah, if you don't if you miss too much things, you're not going to be allowed to play.
They actually did mention that when he ran away, like we have basketball. Where are you going? Like you can't miss. They won't let you play.
They won't let you play is what Russ told him.
Yeah, and here we are playing.
Yeah. Now in the game. Come running in there.
So
Granddad is chained to the top of the basketball court that only the people that are involved in the storyline can see. No one else can see that he's chained up there.
But it distracts him, so he misses the tip off. And
why is there a tip off if there's only 3 minutes left in the game? That's not how basketball works. There's one tip off.
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
I just realized that now. It's like, if there's only 3 minutes, you don't get to have another tip off. You have one tip off in a basketball game. It's the very first quarter. Not 3 minutes left in the game. You're like, you know what? Like, I mean, that means obviously
let's jump it up again.
They're at least
let's jump it up again.
Quarter.
Granddad the whole time is like yelling at Kyle, being like saying he's like, you can't win without your luck. Like he's not being helpful or cheering him on at all. Like the
grandpa's just kind of an ass.
He kind of is, yes. And they're getting beat. Like it's not going well. They're getting slapped down, getting knocked down. They're hurting. And Granddad gives Russell a coin and tells him it was a lucky coin, which I don't know why he believes this because they don't have any luck.
It was a little bit of Mike's secret stuff, little Space Jam. And all it did was give Russ confidence. And then Kyle's like, why'd you lie to him? It's like, bro, he needed it.
I think I agree with that because, like, I think, like Kevin, you had said that Russ had been like, here's the science part of everything. And then especially, I think the rainbow thing was where Russ was like, you know what? Screw it. Whatever the grandpa says, I'm going to believe. So as soon as the grandpa says, here's a lucky coin, it's like, okay, they're leprechauns. This is probably a lucky coin. Yeah, I'm down. So yeah, it's the Mike secret stuff story.
Yeah, it tracks. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. That makes sense. Give me that coin. Catches it. I'm now going to be just as good as Kyle was. Maybe I'll touch rim.
But it turns out the luck was inside him the whole time.
All along. Oh
and
my
Kyle
God.
Always the better basketball player.
But Kyle realizes that his luck is inside him as well. And it turns the entire game around. Yes. We got 5 seconds left. And for whatever reason, Sheamus is turning into this angry leprechaun face.
It's angrier and angrier, and his face is morphing and morphing.
And Kyle blocks Sheamus from getting the ball, and he passes it to Russell, who does a layup to score the winning basket.
Yeah, Russ!
And the crowd goes wild for about a moment before everyone disappears except for the main characters.
Yep.
Kyle breaks the news that his father hails from the shores of Erie and Cleveland. And Sheamus sinks into a
no. Let's give this the proper due. After the bet, Sheamus goes, well, listen, I lost, but it doesn't matter because I get to go back to Ireland
I get to
and
go back
home and rule over those people. And Kyle's like, no, I said you get to go back to the land of my people. And he's like, no, might as well say it right. It's Erie instead of it's Erie, you said. He's like, no, my father's from Cleveland. And it's the shores of Lake Erie. And then this face that he makes is, he does a face and then shrinks down to a little minuscule size and gets flung into the lake in
Like Erie.
Ohio. Yeah.
Probably killed him.
Like I said, the reason why he's got the shocked face is like, I gotta spend the rest of my life in Cleveland. To anybody who's listening who's from Cleveland, I apologize. I don't.
It's not us. It's not us.
Please keep listening to this podcast.
It's not us. It's the movie. Do know that it's not us. It's the movie. We didn't do this. The movie did. LeBron's from Cleveland.
There you go.
Kyle picks up the coin, and the crowd returns, and the celebration continues. We see Bonnie's dad come out of nowhere and is like, where have you been all day? When she's clearly been at the field trip and then the basketball game. So I'm not sure what's...
Also, where the hell did the other guys go that were part of Sheamus's gang? Like, was the magic all in the coin? And as soon as he picked it up, they're like, all right, we're gone.
We're leaving. We're taking off. It's true.
Like, they still have all that gold in their little RV thing. So
they're pretty well set.
Yeah, they're gonna spend that gold right there. Yeah.
So Mr. O'Reilly comes out of nowhere and tells Bonnie's dad that she's in the running for this potato chip scholarship, but they want her to be more rounded, and she should probably like play a sport or something.
A wink.
At which point, Bonnie's dad was like, "Oh, she's gonna play basketball next year."
She can make the team.
Is she actually up for the scholarship, or
the scholarship is it's an internship at the potato chip factory, and they're gonna get the scholarship going for her from that because he's the owner of the potato chip factory. So they're going to make this scholarship so that way she can go play basketball. That's why the wink was there. So that way he can get his girlfriend playing basketball because Bonnie's been such a help to them all day, even though she didn't actually do anything.
But I'm actually wondering, is that real or is he just lying to get her into basketball? Or is he actually going to give her a job?
I think he'll give her a job for real.
Is he going to give her a job?
An internship. I mean,
do you really want to work at a potato chip factory?
Well, you're
a high achiever. Right? Is that the highest level?
No, think about it. Think about it, because she's in high school now, right? She's going to be going into high school. It is probably the biggest company in town, the potato chip factory. It's probably the biggest company.
God, what a boring town.
Yes. But if you're talking about scholarship money for her to get as a freshman, and you're talking to the CEO of the potato chip company, who seems really chummy with these people, I believe it. I believe that there's going to be a scholarship.
Yeah,
just for her.
I believe there's going to be a scholarship. I don't think there's going to be an actual internship.
Possibly not, but there's going to be a scholarship for her.
Yeah.
Maybe the internship is like to learn about not like her working.
Because she missed her tour.
Not her like working in the plant. No. I think it'll be learning like how to be like a CEO type.
How to be a leprechaun.
High level stuff. Not how
how to run a business when all you have is luck.
Yes. How to run a business, but like for real though.
For real.
So we cut to Heritage Day, and Kyle is step dancing in front of the whole entire crowd in a Cleveland Browns t-shirt. And then he proceeds
Cleveland side
to give this little speech about like heritage, and then he starts singing about he sings "This Land Is My Land," and then Bonnie joins in, and then the entire crowd joins in. It's a very moving moment.
Yep, and then everybody claps,
and that's the movie.
That's the movie. Awesome.
Quality entertainment in 2001.
Sad. Well, how did you like the movie? Do you not like the movie? I know you said early. Now that we've gone through it,
no, I still love the movie. I mean, you don't watch these old Disney Channel movies to be like, man, this is a masterpiece. You watch them for now. I watch them for the nostalgia factor, but it's just fun to watch. That's what the point of these movies were. I mean, they're not great. They're not going to be award winning, but they're fun to watch. I mean, they're cheesy. They give you that little sense of fun. And like we said, there's some messages in these movies that you're just like, the prejudice, talking about heritage. I mean, that's a really cool thing. And like the comments they make,
not just slavery.
I mean, yeah, like at least you guys got paid. Like that's a huge thing to say for a 2001 movie, especially because back in early 2000s, we weren't really like
we were good then. We were good now.
We didn't give a shit. Like it wasn't even a discussion back then of like and so having small comments like that, like these movies had some of those times where it's like this is actually pretty like deep. And so I mean, and like I said, it's not for like it's for fun. It's for cheesy good time just to watch. Not great acting, but
no. Lindsay, what were your thoughts on the movie? You like the movie, not like the movie?
I remembered it more fondly than on the rewatch. I was like, oh man, this is a little bit of a struggle to get through. But too much cheese. Too many plot lines that like did not go anywhere. We still have no idea where the father's from.
Outside of Cleveland. Outside of the parts about Cleveland.
Right? He changed his name. Where did his family go? We have no idea.
For me, I enjoyed the film much more on the retelling right now than I did when I had to rewatch it. When I rewatched it, it was a bit of a slog. It was as you said, Lindz, it was remembered much more fondly than when I rewatched it preparing for this thing right here. But the nostalgia's there. You never can stop watching Ryan Merriman dance, right? Those dance moves, things of history.
I mean, it will make me laugh every time. Like when he started doing the Irish jig in the factory, I had to pause it because I was laughing so hard.
See, and then when you enter in the Bonnie factor, real cute girl, then real attractive now.
I don't know. Let's take a look.
Yeah, check out her Instagram. Real attractive now. Bonnie is killing it, and it's just the movie was fun. The mom, I wish there was more of the mom. The mom was really funny. I liked her a lot. The dad was meh. The granddad was pretty funny too. I enjoyed them. So those were some highlights. Lindsay, which character?
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Confirmed.
Wow.
Yes.
But what's funny is that you go to her Instagram and there's literally a picture of Ryan Merriman with the beard and stuff and got the Luck of the Irish on it too.
Yep. That was from 2020. I looked at that post. It was from 2020 around this time.
Probably doing the 20th anniversary.
Ted,
oh my god.
yes. Ted, on the show we like to do who won the movie, who lost the movie. Lindsay, who won the movie for you? Which character won the movie for you?
Bonnie. She gets everything out of this. She gets to spend time with the guy she's crushing on. She gets to play basketball. She gets some scholarship. Like she gets everything out of this with very minimal effort.
I think I have to agree with you. Ted, who won the movie for you?
What do we mean, like won the movie? Like
who got it? Who did the best in this film as a character? Which character was like the best character for you in this movie?
Oh God. Honestly, I really enjoyed Sheamus. I really
okay.
I think he's just a lot of fun and like. The actor, one of the actors, he's a funny guy, but yeah, I think Sheamus was always my favorite part. And when I watched it as a kid, I was like, I just think he's a cool guy because it was just, I don't know, there was something about him that I was just like. But as to who won the movie, I mean,
like who came out on top in the plot?
Oh, Russell, absolutely, because he's like, shit, I can actually play basketball, guys.
There is a part where he like wins his father's love at the end. Like he's finally proud of him.
He wins the game. Like it's all about Russell at the end of the game. It's screw Kyle. Because Kyle's from Cleveland, so
I think it's between the two of them. I would give it to Bonnie because I think Lindsay's right. Bonnie got everything she got Kyle to figure out about his heritage. She got him to figure out the heritage, what she'd been asking for from the first minute of the movie. She gets the guy. She still gets an internship. She got to go on an adventure, and then she gets to play basketball. Like just coming up, just roses for her.
Yeah.
Now I feel like who lost the movie. I think the biggest loser is the girl that had the locker next to Kyle's, because she gives him a look early in the film, and then you see her again. She had a sour look on her face because he was not good in that game, and then you see her in the crowd cheering him on. But my guy's taken now. He's got him a new lady now. I think she's the biggest loser in this movie. Is that girl with the locker? Lindsay was the biggest loser.
I think it's Da, because he's got to flee Cleveland. He's got to live this life and wit
right there.
protection, lie to his child. He's going to end up dying while his family continues to live forever. Like, he's just losing on all fronts.
You say it like that. I see that. Chad, who's the biggest loser for you in this movie?
All the leprechauns that didn't get their luck back.
Yes, because Kyle and his family get their luck back, but that pot of gold just goes missing.
It goes with the Sheamus's henchmen.
Yes,
because they're not finding Sheamus. He's now a tiny leprechaun stuck in the waters of Lake Erie. Yes. They're not finding him, so they're like, "We got this pot of gold." So yeah, it's the leprechauns who didn't get their luck back.
That's true. You know what? I think you're right. Sometimes we like to also go through the biggest winner. No losers for the actors, but biggest winner for the actors. I think Oliphant's the only real winner here. As we look through their history of movies and stuff they've done since, I think Oliphant's the only winner as the actor.
A Mudson. You're thinking
a Mudson. Yeah. My bad. Yes, he's the.
You can either give it to him or Henry Gibson, because at this point Henry Gibson had a huge career. He didn't. Correct. He was at the point in his career, he's like, I could do fun stuff. It
was before. So you're right. And normally we don't do big winners for the adults, because the adults usually are established. Normally it's for the kids, but none of the kids go on to do anything. None of them do.
What? You don't think Halloween is something?
I don't know. Like, I think I'm wrong though, because Ryan Merriman's still doing stuff these days.
Yeah, I guess he's not
the lead actor in them, but he's still making he's still doing TV show movies. He's doing movies. He's got another movie coming out. He's not the lead guy, but he's been in some big name movies. 42 was a huge movie.
True. It's true. You're right.
Still Ryan Merriman, no matter how you look at it.
He's still Ryan Merriman. Yeah, there's not a lot of names, not a lot of Disney Channel original movie actors you could name by name.
Exactly.
Ryan Merriman's one of them.
There's not many at all that really lasted through their Disney Channel movies. They didn't go off and do other movies.
True.
If I ran into him at the grocery store, I'd be pretty stoked.
Yeah. I think the girl that played Xenon is probably the closest one. Because she did another movie.
Kristen Storm.
Yes.
She's on Days of Our Lives, and no, you're right. Kristen Storm is pretty big, but her and him, and that's kind of it. Unless other than the juggernaut that is High School Musical, those kids go, Zac Efron, all them, they go on to do stuff. But other than that, you're right. Ryan Merriman, you won the movie. You're winning in life. Congratulations to you, Ted. Thank you so much for joining us.
I swear, if you need more of these, I'm happy because these are nostalgia factors to me. So if you want to bring me back for these types of movies, I'm all for talking about them.
Perfect. We will definitely have you back again for another one. Ted, do you have anything you want to promote? Anything you want to plug? Your Instagram, your Twitter?
No, my Twitter's very depressing.
Just pictures of Ryan Merriman, right?
All it is it's just, oh, Ryan, come back. You could follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv slash SmoochieFan23. I'm trying to get back into more streaming, so that's about it. I don't like to promote my TikTok because it's dumb.
No worries, no worries. SmoochieFan23 on Twitch. Lindsay, you got anything you want to promote?
Just like and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want us to do a specific movie, hit us up.
Just let us know. Yep. Find me at KG Fury. You can also find me covering Big Brother Canada currently and Survivor on For the Fans Entertainment. You can find that on the podcast streams. Also, you can find this. This is going to be a video podcast, so you can see this right on YouTube at DCOM AD. So check that out. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy, and I can't wait to see you guys again. Join us again next month. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.